Welcome back to Saving Miller. This is part 2 of the chicken coop build. So this is an automatic door. It opens and closes automatically. It's the ChickSafe door from Brinsea. And this can be set to either open and close at a certain time, or it can be set to open when the sun comes up, and then it closes when the sun goes down. So that's what I'm going to try first, and that's what I have it set at. So this is the front of the chicken coop. I've been making progress. That's the way Saving Miller builds a chicken coop door. And yes, I do read the directions. So as you can see, more of the framework has been completed. And then I installed the door. The mini farmer was very involved with all of it. Here we are adding the trim pieces on the sides, so we'll have a small overhang on the roof. Moving around to the middle here you can see the panel, the hog panel that I bent to support the barrel. So this is where the water supply is going to be. This is a 30-gallon barrel that will hang up here, and we'll be able to fill that, hopefully have several days of supply. And then we're doing this overhang the whole way around, and that will help to protect the door. I really like this door operator. It seems like it's built very well. And I also got the door from Brinsea. So I have high hopes for it. It's pretty small, but we don't intend to get a goose or anything, so I think it should be sized fairly well. The ducks that we have aren't real big. We'll see how they like it. Now we're ready to start on the inside and get the floor in. You can see that some of the netting on the side panels is finished. I ran this aluminum drip edge around the outside, or around the inside of the 4x4s, the framing, just to protect the wood and to help make it easier to get the manure off of there when we do need to clean it. Hopefully we'll be able to just wash it down. So I used the hardware cloth on all of the sides, on the front, and this is so the chickens are protected and can actually see out a little bit. Maybe in the future, if I see that the birds seem to need it, I might change some of it out to the sheet metal, actually. So it was a bit of a hassle to notch all of these to run the drip edge around the inside. Hopefully that wasn't a waste of time, but I think in the long term it's actually going to be a good idea. All along I really tried to use good techniques and top, good quality craftsmanship. I want the whole thing to look good and also function really well and to be durable for a long time. It should also be very serviceable because of the way I've put it together. I do expect in the future I'll need to replace some of the netting if it gets worn or torn or something like that. There's a lot of sheet metal work that needed to be done. That's okay. I've gotten used to doing it. And I think this galvanized sheet metal actually looks really good. My goal was to have everything on the inside that the chickens would touch be galvanized, so it's protected. Hopefully it won't deteriorate too much. But then I also wanted to minimize the amount of manure that could sit on a surface. So these ledges are necessary on the inside, but I also tried to make them as small as possible. This hardware cloth is, I think, going to make a really good floor. And as you can see, I used the galvanized pipe to support it so it doesn't sag. It does sag slightly, but not a lot, and I think it's going to work very well. Now I did put this in sections because I only had a 3-foot roll. I would have liked to have a 4-foot roll so I could do it in one piece, But in the future, if I do need to replace a section, it's going to be much easier if I don't have them in one piece. I also did use galvanized staples, so I wanted to make sure that those held up well. Now I'm working on the box in the back, and these are going to be the nesting boxes. I'm going to have 3 of them. I built it out of plywood, and then I'm going to actually build a sheet metal box on the bottom so that I can put hay in. As you can see, our dog is sneaking away there.
Sophie, come home.
She's become friends with the neighbors. So this is a 5/8 inch plywood that I'm using, and it's nothing special.
Sophie, come.
She's on the street?
You can just call her.
Oh, let Mommy and Daddy fix it.
You can just call her, but don't go on the street. Just stand there and call her name and clap for her.
These nesting boxes are just designed for the chickens. The ducks aren't going to use them. At least I don't expect them to. So this will keep that box on the back from the chickens access it. And I also don't want them to roost in these boxes, so I made it fairly high so they shouldn't roost on them yet. But before long, hopefully they'll be, the hens will be going in there to get used to it, and I will have to close in the front a little bit so it's slightly more enclosed. These boxes are just over 12 inches wide, about 14 inches deep, so they're pretty spacious. So the whole thing's coming together. The details on the back here are going to take a while, and I'm just about ready to start on the door. I had the bright idea that I wanted to be able to store feed and things like that in the back in a secure way. So that's what I designed the space underneath the nesting boxes to do. So here I'm starting on the door. It's going to fold down so that we can access it. The front of the nesting boxes is completed, and here I am calculating the spaces that I need between each one of the boards. This won't be quite fly proof, and bees could probably get in there, but it should keep most other animals out of it so that we don't have issues with things getting into the feed. You're gonna see. You gotta stay back. Hopefully some of the craftsmanship wears off on the mini farmer and she learns how to build things as well. Now, although I'm using staples right here to fasten this initially, I did come and put screws in later on because we do need to support quite a bit of weight from the top side, as you'll be able to see. And I used exterior grade screws for the whole thing. It's gonna be a little shelf for you to stand on.
You have more page. Yep. You have no more page. No, you don't have more page.
Guess what? That's a shelf for the mini farmer.
That's
You
awesome.
wanna hold it? Hang on to it. Or not.
I want to ride. I want to ride. Okay? I want to ride. I want to ride, okay? I want to ride. I want to sit here. I want to sit over there. Okay, I want to sit right in here, okay?
You wanna sit right there?
Yeah.
You can't.
Where? Oh, hard to bounce him without shaking the video. What? Oh, so cool. No way. How do we keep from losing the screw?
Oh, I'll make a different thing.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a shelf. Can you reach the chicken eggs? You know where they're gonna be?
The eggs are going to be in there.
So you can get the eggs when we have a coop. That's so cool. What a genius way to do it. Annabelle, you got a little stand. You have a shelf you can stand on.
As you can see, this build is taking quite a while. There's a lot of details, and that's why this video is so long. But there's still quite a ways to go. So check back next week for part 3 and the reveal, and we will show you how it goes. Till then, Saving Miller out.